Hi, this is Skye with Scrap with Skye, and I'm here to show you my latest project tutorial. It's called Leftovers to Layouts. So with Leftovers to Layouts, what we're going to be doing is taking the leftover pieces, your scraps, from your project playbook projects. So this one is going to be using the Birthday Jubilee collection. So this is the project playout. If you purchase the the Birthday Jubilee bundle, it comes with the project playbook. If you don't buy the bundle, you can purchase the playbook separately. But for this project series, we're going to assume that you have purchased the bundle and created the layouts that are in the project playbook. For Birthday Jubilee, there's 3 one-page layouts and 1 two-page layout. It's going to vary from product collection to product collection, but that means that you've got a lot of pieces left over, and I want to make the most of my scraps. So I thought it would be fun to create a few pages using those leftovers. Let's first talk about what exactly you do have left over. So I'm going to switch to my desktop screen. There we go. All right, so what you should have left is 2 pieces of this Fast to Fab paper. It's got the presents on one side, and on the back side, it's a blue watercolor wash. You should have the multicolor balloons. The back side of that is this really pretty light blue kind of, it's got little stars on it. The other piece you should have a whole sheet left of is the dark blue stripe, and the back side of that is the candles. You should have an orange watercolor wash. The back side of that is the streamers. And then the last whole sheet you should have left is the light blue watercolor wash. And on the back side is the daisies. Those are your whole pieces. Your scraps should look something like this. You should have a piece of dark blue stripe. Yours may be a little bit different size. I did not cut out the birthday cake punches with this. So if you did, you'll have probably a piece that's about half this wide and then a larger piece that would be good for mats. You should have a 10 by 12 piece of the the cupcakes or orange dot on the back side. A nice piece of this plaid with the kind of dark orange bursts on the back. 2 12-inch strips. One is about 1 3/4, one is about 2 inches wide. This is the orange and the light blue. A nice orange piece. Again, yours might be a little bit smaller if you did the punches. It's orange dot on one side and cupcakes on the other. You may not have this piece if you did the punches. And this piece again may be smaller if you did the punches, but it's a 4 by 4. And then this balloon and starburst and another piece of this. And then a fairly good sized piece of light blue cardstock. It looks like it's about just under 10 inches wide. So there's some nice big pieces to do some things with as well. And there'll be a variety of smaller pieces. This is an example of my scraps. I kind of sorted them into 2 piles, ones that I might be able to do something with. These pieces could possibly make some borders or do some strips. There's a nice half circle left, which I think will be really fun to use that on a page with the larger bit that goes on the outside. And then a couple of pieces. These, you may be able to use as an element on your page, perhaps as a base for some embellishments, or use them to punch some things out. And then these are much smaller pieces, little bits of scraps. I'm not sure how useful these will be, but they are big enough to punch something out of. So I did keep them just in case. So those are about what your scraps should look like. I want to talk a little bit about using these cutting guides. Everybody might approach this in slightly different ways. It's always a great idea to follow the cutting guide exactly, especially if you're just learning and using the cutting guides for the first time. They work really great. Super important to read these little notes on the side here. If there's a line that says tip, this is usually going to be giving you a instruction about how to orient your paper to make sure that it's going the right direction if your paper is directional. One habit I have gotten into is that I always check my papers to see if they are directional, and that means the side that I'm looking at that is shown here. This blue designer paper is a really great example. This blue stripe, the stripe is directional, so depending on if you have it going horizontally or if you flip it 90 degrees, it goes the other way from left to right or right to left, that diagonal stripe. But the back side of that paper has birthday candles on it. And so depending on what you might be using the paper for, if you need the reverse side of it, you want to make sure that it's oriented correctly. So the best way to do that is make sure you read the notes, and then I always double check to make sure it's right. So for example, this piece right here, you are using the reverse side. And so I will go and look at the finished layout and make sure that I have the paper going the right direction. And sometimes I'll even cut from the reverse side to make sure that I have things going the right way. So that's just a tip. I can't emphasize it enough. Double check and make sure you have things oriented the correct way. I'll also say that paper number 6, this is a tricky cut. So I would practice on a scrap piece of paper first to make sure that you understand how to do it and that you've done a practice time. It's cutting a frame, and then with that leftover piece that's in the middle, you're using the jumbo circle of the custom cutting system, and it is exactly the right size. So if you have not done a lot of cutting with the custom cutting system, I highly, highly recommend that you practice once or twice on a junk piece of paper to make sure that you're comfortable doing this, because you don't want to waste a really good piece of your pretty, pretty paper learning that new skill. So that's a recommendation I would make on that. Another one, paper number 8, is also directional. So you want to be sure and look at that. All right. Other tips I would give you with these cutting guides. I like to make the most of my scraps and to make sure that my scrap pieces are as big as they can possibly be, because the bigger they are, the more useful they are. So I'm going to look specifically at designer paper number 2, these cuts on here. You'll notice that this strip along this side is a scrap, and then there's two, the way that it's shown is there's 2 bits here that are scrap. Well, I personally am going to cut this so that I get a big piece here. So these 2 pieces are 2 by 8. If I cut these off the way it's instructed, I'm going to have 2 pieces that are 4 by 2, 2 by 4, excuse me. But if I make this cut here, the horizontal cut first, rather than the vertical cut first, I'm going to get one piece that's 4 by 4, and a 4 by 4 is a great size to mat a photo. So the way that I would cut this one in particular is I would start from here. I would make this vertical cut. I would make this vertical cut. I'd skip this vertical cut, and then I would make this one. I'd set this piece aside, it's a scrap, and then I would turn this piece 90 degrees, cut it off there, and then make this vertical cut and set my scrap piece aside. I hope that makes sense. I would do the same thing with this orange dot. When I cut this, I made this cut and then I turned this piece. So what was left was three, trying to do scrapbooker math. But anyway, I made this first cut, the second cut, and then I turned this whole piece 90 degrees and I cut it here. I made this as my second cut. And then I cut this down to size and I was able to get these three small pieces out of this section here. So then I had this whole bit left as my scrap piece. So I'm just always looking at ways to maximize my scraps and take a look at things. This comes with practice. The more you do these cutting guides, the more you realize where you can make changes. But having said that, always make sure that you're looking at the orientation of the papers. On this one, it didn't matter because there was nothing on the reverse. So this was just a symmetrical paper. So it didn't matter which way things were going. So I could cut these the long way off of this little section, even though they're being cut horizontal. I ended up cutting them vertically, but it didn't matter for the patterns. Okay, so those are some tips with the cutting guide to get started. You're going to also have quite a number of your embellishments left. So we've got quite a bit of the, what are we calling this? This is, oh my gosh, I've lost my, oh, I will think of it. So this is the pack that has like the bonus embellishments and mat cards on it. And then there's the mat cards. We've still got quite a bit of the mat cards, quite a few of the mat cards left. We've got half of these really awesome layered borders. So I definitely am going to make use of those. The Project Playbook didn't call for the use of a lot of stickers. So you've got a lot of stickers left on here too. You've got all of your border stickers, most of your phrases, and most of the icons as well. So we've got tons of stickers left. These are the embellishments that are left, the die cut embellishments. So we can definitely have a lot of fun with those. Make some great pages. We're going to be making 3 layouts from our leftovers from the Birthday Jubilee Playbook, 2 2-pagers and 1 1-page layout. We're going to be using some techniques that lend themselves really well to using scraps like paper piecing and welding, plus a few other things that I have up my sleeve. So let's get started. I'm going to switch here to my desktop camera and I'll show you what we're going to be using for the first project. The first layout is going to be using the whole piece of the light blue wash. The backside has the daisies. We're going to be using our large piece of the cupcakes and the strip of the dark blue stripe, the diagonal stripe. The backside of this is the candles. If you don't have a piece that's just like this, you can either use a piece of cardstock, another scrap that you like to go with this, or there is a whole sheet of this piece of paper left. You could cut it from that, although I am using that in one of the other layouts, but it's up to you. This is all about how you want to use your scraps to the best. I'm just giving some suggestions. All right, so we're going to do some welding first thing first here. So with welding, we use a piece of scrap paper to create a seam. So I'm just gonna cut first 2 1-inch strips. Actually, we're gonna need a couple of seams here, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut 4. And you can use any piece. I recommend cardstock rather than designer paper, but you can use any scrap cardstock you have. You're not going to see it, so it does not matter what color it is. So just use whatever you have. You could even use it from that light blue piece that we have left over from here. All right. So these are the pieces that are going to be my seams when I create my weld. And I'm going to cut the light blue piece down in half. So we're going to cut that at the 6-inch line so that we'll have two 6 by 12 pieces of this. For the cupcakes, this one is 10 inches. And we're going to cut one's going to be 4 inches wide and one is going to be 6 inches wide. So we're going to cut this at the 4-inch mark. So I've got one 4-inch piece and one 6-inch piece. And then I'm going to take my blue piece, and it is 4 3/4. I'm going to go ahead and trim that down. Actually, 4 3/4. So I'm going to do one piece that's 6 plus 4. I got to do scrapbooker math, guys. I'm going to put these guys together. This one is 6 and 4. So that's 10. Yep. So I'm going to do a 2-inch piece. And one piece that's a little bit bigger. Okay, so what's going to be at the 2-inch line? So 2 3/4 and 2 inches. You got to play around with the sizes that you like as well. So these guys are going to go together like that. This one is going to be have a little bit of overlap because it is a little bit bigger. I'm just going to do something about like that. Okay, so the trick that I use when creating a weld is I take the piece that I'm using for the seam and I pretty much just cover it top to bottom, not quite entirely, but mostly with tape, repositional tape runner. And then I lay this out on the line where the width of my paper. So this piece is 6 inches wide. I'm going to lay it down at 5.5. And then I'm going to put my paper right at this 6. The other thing I do is just put just a little dab so this sticks to the map. All right, and now I'm going to line this up. Oops, missed the spot there. There we go. So now, using my 13-inch mat, I've got these great measurement marks, and I can line this up perfectly at the line where that goes. And then my next piece is going to be the blue, and I'm just going to align that right there like that. Just butt those edges up next to one another. And then I need another seam for my third piece of paper. And this one is going to go that just a little bit at the 8.5. Right there. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to line this piece up so that I know that it's nice and straight. Because essentially what we're doing is we're constructing a 12 piece of 12 by 12 paper with 3 other pieces to make it to total 12 by 12. And then the last piece here is this stripe. Okay, so now I've got my left-hand side of my layout. And I'm going to repeat that over here. Lay this down. So just the same process, just this time I'm going right to left instead of left to right. Put that piece down. And then in this case, I don't really, oh, this matched up exactly, didn't it? 6 by 6. Oh, I think I'm gonna save this strip for something else. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in place here. Just kind of winging it a little bit in case you didn't notice. All right, so now I've got my 2 base pages constructed. I've got a left-hand side and a right-hand side. And I've got this nice strip. I might lay this over here like that, just kind of center that on there. Maybe I'll put it over here, trim it down maybe and put it over here. I can make a border on this side. All right, and so from here, you have a lot of options for what you could do with your photos. So for example, we've got some 4 by 6 photos here. You could do 2 4 by 6s in the middle. You could do 3.5 by 5.5. You could do 2 of those there like that. And then maybe you get a lot of photos on here. You could do kind of like 3.5 by 3.5. And again, this is just going to totally depend on what photos you have. You do something like that, and then do your embellishments in a triangle cluster. So I like that. Okay, let's stick our photos down. So I'm just positioning these so they're equidistant apart. Then we'll get to the fun part. I'm going to line up the top of these 2 photos here and the bottom of these 2 photos here so that there's a straight line going. And then I'm going to put, so that's the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side, I'm going to leave this edge about the same, and then I'm going to split the middle here. About like, I think I need to. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and trim this down to about 1.5 inches. I think I'm gonna look at my other scraps here. We've got these really nice um, 12-inch strip. I kind of like, oops, that one's not 12 inches. There were 11 inches and 12 inches on those strips, if I remember right. Yeah, I kind of like that just to kind of offset the edge a touch there. And maybe put one over here as well. There and here. And that gives you some consistency. And then we've got a great selection of border stickers left. So I think we can really make some nice borders. These guys. Overlap that just a little bit so that the seam doesn't come through. Using my silicone mat always when I use my repositional tape runner, that I don't get a lot of excess adhesive on my mat or on my papers. Okay, and this I need to adhere down to. So I'd love to hear or read your comments about what you think of this layout. If you've used the, just take this down a little bit firmer, use the welding technique before. There's a few different ways that you can weld. When we do another one, if we have another weld in this project, I'll show you another way that I sometimes do it. It's really just a matter of personal preference. All right, so we've got our base down here. Let's embellish. So you absolutely could use mats in some of these places. We've got some great some really nice photo mats left. And we can also use those for that one for titles. You could use this one here. I like that. There's an orange one we could use down here. Let's see if we can find another blue one. There's a light blue one. There's a dark blue one, a little bit different pattern. Possibly. I like these for journal boxes. There's a good title there. This was the best, celebrate. I like this because of the cupcake. We might use that as a title. Confetti everywhere. Oh, here's another one of the blue dot ones. So I think we would do something like that. All right, and let's pull out our border stickers. All right, so the border stickers, one is flowers, which I don't think go great with that. This one is a row of icing, which is like the icing border around. And I think that would work pretty well, particularly on this side because the blue would offset that. So let's go with that, and maybe we'll stick the other one think I like it going this direction better. And then I'll put this one here. Because I don't think there's contrast between the blue sticker and this blue edge. Would be quite enough here. All right, so let's just here are mats. Down about 1/4 of an inch from the left hand side and at about 5 3/4 up or 6 1/4 down. So I'm going to do it about 1/8 so that's 1/6 and 1/8 down from the top. So it'll be split the difference. That one at about 1/4 of an inch up from here. No, like that. Oops. All right, so let's get a title on here and maybe a journal box and some fun embellishments. So we've got this bit of embellishments and we've got these stickers and titles. I love the tag. I think maybe we could use this tag as a little bit of a journal here. We can add some fun cupcake stickers. We've got these cupcake stickers. We've got this cupcake sticker. It's a cupcake kind of day. How perfect is that, right? Let's do it's a cupcake kind of day. And maybe find use this blue, this dark blue sticker. It's a cupcake kind of day. Maybe I'll put this down here with this. Here, add some adhesive there, and then up here, double checking the I'm going to take this guy here. I think actually I'm going to cut it down even just a little bit more. So it's, my blue piece is still on there. So half of this would be 3 1/4. And let's just take 1/4 inch off the top and bottom of this one. It's got a lot of white space. And I think we could take one of our scraps. We've got some pretty, got one of these. We could overlay like that. Maybe put this at an angle. on there. And I think I'd like to pop up these other cupcake stickers. So I'm gonna use my anti-stick powder. And to do that, I've got my, just pull the lid off and see how it works off camera. It's got a little sponge applicator. And so that de-sticks your stickers. And then I can take some photo tape and cut it to size and make a little pop-up sticker with that. There. Half. There, part of it there. Oh, I need to cut it down even a little bit more. Let's see, I need to make my triangle here. So I've got here, here, and put this down in the middle over here, I think. Maybe I'll go here and I'll use this fan embellishment here as a little bit of a background. That looks super cute. You know what? I'm going to cut this in half so I can maybe use it for something else. Did you know if you take a circle, any circle, any size, and you put it between the two little edges on the cut portion of your 12-inch trimmer, that this will cut the circle in half, exactly in half every time. So there's a tip trick for you. So cut that up. Quite go all the way through. So I'll just take my little scissors. So I'm going to put that guy there. And maybe I'll add this one over here. Be something like that. All right. Okay. We like our embellishments to be in threes, so I'd like to find a little something extra to put there. So maybe this little bit of a streamer. I think that looks cute there. And then I've got another one of those that I'll use, I think, down here just to kind of, on this over here to kind of bring it together. So let's build this guy. I'm gonna offset that and exactly 100% sure where I want to put it. An angle. Kind of bring them together and then something like that as well. Another bit of confetti. There's a big, oh, the hearts on here, but I kind of, we'll save the hearts for something else. All right, so I think that looks pretty good. You could do a number of different things with this. This is a little bit of a small journal area. You could definitely add some additional journaling here. I feel like I would like some more embellishments up here, but maybe once you get your photos on, it wouldn't seem like you needed it as much. So there's layout number one of our using our leftovers. Let's move on to layout number two. I'm going to tidy my space. To create layout number two, we're going to be using the balloon multicolor paper. The black side is the light blue. We've got a whole sheet of the orange wash. The back side of that is the confetti. And then we're using these two scraps of, we're going to be using the darker side. It's plaid on one side. The other side is the orange. It's got a little bit of a starburst in there. The half circle, and this guy is 4 inches wide. So we are going to be doing some more welding and creating a 2-page layout with these scraps. So we're going to first cut 4 inches off of here. I'm actually going to cut 4 inches off this side. I'm doing that so that my sides match. Turn this one like that and this one like that. I hope that made sense to you. And I'm not going to bother welding this. I'm just going to go ahead and use the whole piece. We can adhere that down to start with before we do our weld. I'll show you the second welding method with this example. And then that way you kind of can choose whichever one works best for you. So we've got our welding strip. Again, I'm gonna put quite a lot of repositional tape on it. Make sure I get the ends and then all down the middle here. Do a real good job on those ends there. Okay. And this time, I'm going to put the pieces together from the backside. So this is how I want my my page to look when it's done. I'm just gonna flip that over. I'm gonna line these pieces up so that they align naturally. This is pretty on the backside too, actually really pretty, the way that these back colors. That's the great thing about our Creative Memories papers, is that they all coordinate with each other beautifully. This is just a little off. There we go. So even the back sides match up and make a beautiful page. All right, so I've got that, these pieces together, and then I'm just going to take my strip, kind of pushing and holding the two pieces together. I'm just going to now take that strip and lay it down over the top of that seam, pressing down, and now I have my paper. So that's the second way of doing a weld. It's just really a matter of personal preference. They both work great. All right, so these pieces are going to go together like this. This is my left-hand side and my right-hand side of my layout. This guy, I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half, and I'm going to make corner pieces. So again, this is, how long is this one? This is 8 1/4. So I want to cut it at 4 1/8. So here's my 4 inch. My 1/8 is 2 of the black lines. So now I've got 2 identical pieces, and I'm going to put these guys in the corners here. It's hard to choose which side of this paper to use. I love that plaid an awful lot. I like plaids in general. I have yet to meet a plaid I don't like. So it was it was a tough choice. But I also really like the way that this orange really enhances, adds a nice contrast. This dark orange, this reddish orange adds a nice contrast, pulls out the darker of the balloons and makes a nice looking page. So now we've got our base pieces. We could take a look and see what we have for some strips if we wanted to use some of those. I've got this strip over here, actually, I think would look really nice to kind of make a seam there and bring these guys together. I think I'll trim it down a bit. So let's cut this guy down to 1-inch strip. Got 1 and 3/4 of an inch. I think I'm going to use the 3/4 of an inch. I'll use that inch one for something else. And I'm just going to lay this right down the middle. All right, so then let's kind of think about what we've got. I love to use up these mats. So this one could be a great title for this one. That orange is a little bit too bright. Thinking light blue mat would look really nice with these. I don't see that I have any. Let's look at our artsy add-ons. We've got some light blue mats or some other titles we can use there. And let's not forget about these artsy add-on embellishments too. More candles, the bigger the wish. So there's a dark blue. That one's pretty. There's that blue. I like that one a lot. That's actually looks nice. So, just trying to celebrate. There's that red orange again. Short, eat the cake. I'll relate to that. Blue stripe and orange. There's the light blue I was looking for. And that orange. Just the one light blue. I think it's too busy. I do something like that and that on here. Dot. You can choose whichever one looks good to you. I like this back side of this one, so I think I'll keep that maybe just in case I can find a good use for it. Okay, so I think we'll do some photos about like that. We've got our 4x6. There. Maybe some 4x4s. I love these templates. It really is super helpful in putting together kind of like this overlapping a little bit there. Maybe give that a little bit more space. This here. Something like that. Certainly you could put another 4x6 here. We end up with so many vertical photos. Maybe we need to do something like that there. kind of like that. That gives us some nice choices. And then you can sub these out too. You could put 3x3s here, like maybe cluster a grid of 3x3s. Yeah. I like the look of that. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere these down. I do like to map my photos. So in this case, I probably would get some of the coordinating cardstock, which is going to be your light blue, your pumpkin, your tangerine, the regular blue, the navy. You could also use your neutrals like beige, and do some matting. I do like would like the contrast with this, so I probably would maybe use light blue over here and perhaps the pumpkin on this side. But I play around with it a little bit and see what I think. So again, I'm just going to use the measurement marks on here to kind of eyeball where this should be. So that's about halfway down from the bottom. I'm just kind of centering, and it's about an inch in from the left-hand side. I love that they included the artsy add-on pack as part of the bundle for this one. I think the artsy add-ons don't get quite enough love. And so it's nice to include it so that we're using it. And I actually really like, they are exactly that. They're artsy. They're a little bit more fun-loving, like the patterns on this on these mats and titles are just super fun. All right, so we've got some balloons here. I think my border stickers, neither of these do I love with this. I feel like this is definitely a horizontal border. This one could go vertically or horizontal, but it's flowers and we're kind of using, we're not really, there's nothing really floral on here. So I'd like to stick to maybe some of these others. We've got balloons and I like the way that this happy birthday coordinates. I think I would probably maybe try to see if we can get this cut. Oops, I didn't adhere this down. Cut down with the custom cutting system. Maybe make a circle out of that to mimic a little bit of the circular edges over here and the roundness of the balloons, kind of bring that together. So let's get our custom cutting templates out and see what size will work. This is the largest. That is too small. So if we center this, it's going to be a little bit tight, I think, to try to make a circle out of that. I'm wondering, could we make it a half circle and put it in the corner? I get this like that and make it, I don't know if that would work or not. No, but I think I'm going to try that. I'm going to try something like that where it's going to go intentionally bleed off the edge. I'm going to use my green blade, which is the second biggest one. Just going to line that up a little bit here. Just going to make sure that goes all the way around there without running off the edge. So maybe put that something there like that. That actually, I think, turned out really cute. And I might actually trim it down. It's like 1/4 of an inch on this side. Sure that's straight. I kind of eyeball this to make sure that it's straight. Yeah. I think that looks great. All right. Sometimes things work out when you're just kind of trying. Okay, let's get some embellishments on here. So what do we have? With these artsy add-ons, one more year around the sun, calendar sweets. Okay. We've got You Don't Look a Day Over Fabulous, kind of like that one. Maybe put that somewhere over there. Get our stickers out. Do something here, and maybe this corner makes for a really great base for an embellishment cluster. So something like maybe some gifts, balloons and gifts. So, something like that. These guys. Let's see. Maybe that'll go up there. I don't know if there's enough contrast. So I'm kind of thinking something like that for there. And then down here, I've got these two. It goes like that, maybe something like that. I could put that here. I think that this is another one that I'd like to pop up a little bit, give a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to use my little anti-stick powder and get out my foam tape. What did I do with my scissors? Grab my other ones. Oh, there they are. The Creative Memories fine tip scissors are great for cutting sticky things because they're made out of Teflon, and so they don't stick to things. So you can cut sticky things and not leave a sticky residue behind, and they're perfect for that. I was thinking, I think I do maybe want to put, I'm going to hold off on that. I think I want to carry the gifts across the pages just as a repeating element. I'm going to adhere this about 2 inches down from the top. Oh, I've got this really, really maybe this. Yeah, I like that. And this at the top. Yeah, I think that looks nice. Presents. Something like that. And then maybe I'll take this, put it down here. And maybe I've got another fun phrase. Cupcakes and candles. Birthdays are just sprinkled with happiness. That's fun. So is the cha-cha-cha. I think I'll do sprinkled with happiness. I think I want something a little bit bigger there. And also maybe something that has more contrast, like this orange. That's not a whole lot bigger, but blue is another way. It's your special day, another year wiser. Don't forget the presents. Maybe something like that. You know, I think over here, I want more contrast. So I'm going to use this orange embellishment under there like that. Okay. So let's see, I just need to adhere down these embellishments a little bit there. These are stuck down with a sticker behind or in front of it, so that works out pretty well. Okay, so there is layout number 2 using our leftovers. What do you think? All right, let's move on to layout number 3. Okay, our third and final layout. And I believe earlier I mentioned that we would be doing a 1-page layout, but we're actually going to be doing 3 2-page layouts. You could convert any of these into a single-page layout if you liked, but I find that 2-page layouts are a little bit more useful. So let's do it that way. So your base pages are going to be the light blue wash. The backside is the Fast to Fab gift. And then this piece, I have a confession to make in that this is the blue stripe on one side, the candle on the other side. You should have a whole piece of this. I made an error when I was doing my original cuts, and so I ended up cutting mine incorrectly, and so mine is not quite whole. But I'll show you how I'm going to work around that, and you could certainly modify yours however you like. But that's where we are with that. We're going to use both sides, the birthday candle stripe and the birthday candle pattern, as well as the solid blue stripe. And then I've been dying to use this layered border with the birthday candles. So this page is kind of designed to use this in mind, as well as this really fun title mat from the artsy add-on collection. So I like this one a lot. We're going to incorporate that in here as well. All right, so the way we're going to do this is from your whole sheet of the blue and the candles, cut a 2¼ inch strip so that the candles are going vertically. Okay. And that's going to be a border over here on our left-hand side. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that now. You should also have a strip of the blue stripe from the first layout we created left. It's going to be about 1¼ inch. We're going to put that right next to that strip. The next piece you're going to cut is the blue stripe, and we're going to cut this down to 7 inches. Okay, it's a little bit longer than that. We'll cut this down to 7. Doesn't really matter which direction, but since you've already cut the back side so it's going vertically, you're only going to have one side long enough to do that. So I cut this down to 7 inches. I've got this orange strip left. This guy's 1 inch wide. We used that, we created that when we made layout number 2. That one's going to go along the bottom of your right-hand page like this. And then your blue stripe is going to sit right on top of that. Okay. This is going to create the perfect little backdrop for this really super fun candle layered border. I'm just going to put this guy about 1/4 inch up from the bottom, like so. All right, so that went together incredibly quickly. Super simple, essentially paper layering on here. All right, so I love this title. I'm going to cut it down so that it's, let's see, about 4 by 4. So it is 6½. So that means I'm taking 2½ inches off of it. So I'm going to take 1¼ inch off the top and 1¼ inch off the bottom so that it is still centered. So this little message is still centered. And this is, and then I'm going to take 1/4 inch off of each side. Did you know that the edge of your gray cutting mat is 1/4 inch? So I'm just going to line that up, the edge of my cutting mat. Take that off of there. These are super fun scraps. I would keep those. You know, I love my scraps. And then do the same thing on the other side. So now we've cut this down to 4 by 4. And that's going to be our title somewhere. Like maybe we'll see where we can fit that, where it looks good. All right, and let's take a look at our photo mats here and see which ones we can put to good use for photo mats and or for journaling. The orange is fun. This orange has a confetti pattern in it. I really like this little tag there though, so we'll see. Birthday stories, that one's no good. Here's more of the orange. And I probably would not use something with those tassels. It's not my favorite element in the collection. That one's fun. It coordinates nice with this. Happy, happy. The blue also coordinates pretty nice. There's that orange. I think as much as I love the this little plaid, I think probably make the most of that. And then, is there another one of these starbursts we could do? Just trying to find one where I've got two of something that works. Two of, I don't know if I have two of anything left. I might have this orange stripe. Did I? Oh, there's polka dots. I like those. There's another tag that would work really nice. Oh, that's a good one too. Here's orange polka dots. Do I have more orange polka dots? Maybe not. I don't think so. I got the orange starburst, but not the orange polka dots. Okay. So let's, for consistency's sake, use the blue polka dots. And I'm going to put one on each side just so that it's consistent here. And I think I want the blue there just for a little bit of contrast. And that's cheers to 1 year. Put photos there. That. It's too busy. I think we need this over here to be a little bit less cluttered. Give it, it just gives it too much of a cluttered look. So we're gonna do a 4x6 and a 4x6, 4x6, and a 4x6. And again, you can use, of course, whatever photos work for you. Oh, maybe what I'll do is I think that might be what I'll do for a journal box. Tuck that in. Okay. And then I think maybe let's get some more pictures on here. What we haven't done a whole lot of is 3x3s. I wonder if we can make a cute little nest of 3x3s somehow. Get two of them on. I don't think I can get two of them on there. Two here. That's fun. And where these photos are, you could do an embellishment cluster as well. I'm going to trim this down. And this is going to be the journal box. Just tuck that in there like that. And then I want to do this. Can't quite get that to be exactly what I'd like, and I could do an embellishment cluster there. Or you could even, I wonder if there's a way I could get this guy, put a photo on that. All right, let's start adhering and see how we are. I'm just kind of moving things around a little bit to see how they best fit on here. I want to make the most of the page, get as many pictures on as I can, because birthday celebrations, a lot of times, especially if it's a kid's birthday, but birthdays of all ages, we take a lot of photos at birthdays, right? There's pictures of presents, there's pictures of present opening, there's pictures of cake and all of the party festivities of the balloons, the whatever games they're playing. If it's kids, it's all of the relatives, the planned shots with the celebrants. So it's I think for birthday pages, I really like to get on as many photos as I can. And I just love this sort of grid look of adding some little 3x3s on here. I think that's super fun. And I think for this little like that works great. This page I'm still kind of working through in my head, to be super honest, just the right combination of maybe tip that as well to kind of, and there's no reason why we couldn't do something like that. Actually, that's kind of fun. And then put a photo here. Maybe something like that. You could even do, you could trim this down as well. This could be a 4x4 photo. Maybe we can kind of space this out a little bit here. I'm liking this. Move things around sometimes. I think this, is optional. Like, I liked the idea of using it to kind of bring the patterns together, give it a little bit of symmetry on that side. I think you could kind of tuck it down here. So this, I would make a photo, maybe something like a 3x3 there. Lift this up a little bit here. Let's put this down a little bit further. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, I really like that. And then actually can move it a little bit like that. There. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. All right, let's get some embellishments on here. Besides our super fun order. So we've got candles. Let's get out some of these other candle embellishments that we've got. Pieces of the candles from trimming could do something like that. Let's see, so I want to make my triangle, embellishment triangle. I think we could do this, this. I don't want to do that. This is already a nice bottom. I think we could do here, maybe up higher. I think that tucked in there like that. I've got some candle stickers and some candle. These candles here. I've got some more candles. So what we could do is just combine the stickers. That down here like that. There's another candle here. And this one here, maybe I want to do. Trim this off the bottom, or just maybe tuck it down here. So let's sleep on it. Kind of bring the candle theme around. I have some more, but I think that's enough. And let's get some word art on here. Some of these are very specific, like a surprise party and it's my birthday. These are just nature's way of saying eat more cake. I like that. I like that quite a bit, actually. What do we have for cake? I've got, oh, good day. Actually, we could put this down here. It's a sprinkled with happiness sticker. Cheers to another year. You know, that actually is probably enough with the patterns. We've got quite a bit going on. You know, you could still add some more embellishments. This birthdays. You know, I think I'm going to leave it as it is. Perhaps when you get your photos on there, you can make some additions, but I think that looks great. Another thing you could do, rather than use this title, you could put a 4x4 photo here, and you could use this mat as your title, in either there or there, but I would probably put it here. That would be fun too. It brings the candle theme kind of together, and then you could do a 4x4 photo here. So that's just an alternative option. All right, so there is layout number 3, using your leftovers from the project playbook for Birthday Jubilee. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my camera. So I hope you love the layouts that we've created using your leftovers. I had a lot of fun coming up with them, a little bit on the fly and a little bit, you know, kind of knew what I was doing ahead of time. But this is a super fun way to make the most of your bundles, product bundles, and getting more pages, you know, out of your scraps. So thanks for joining me for Leftovers to Layouts, and I hope you'll tune in for the next edition.